Although the Earth is not as porous as Swiss cheese, it has numerous cavities. Sometimes, these cavities can become enormous, reaching hundreds of meters in size, which is truly astonishing. Such large cavities are not just remnants of historical events but still appear on Earth today. Hello, viewers. Welcome to the Global Fields channel. In today's content, we will look at some gigantic sinkholes captured by cameras. Let's jump right into the video. Santa Maria Zacatepec, Mexico. Roberto and Magdalena Sanchez, a couple living in Santa Maria Zacatepec, experienced a shocking event on May 29, 2021. They suddenly heard a loud noise and, curious about what had happened near their fields, rushed to check. As you might have guessed, the source of the loud noise was a massive sinkhole. Initially, the hole was relatively small, measuring only about 4 meters in diameter. However, within 12 days, it expanded to 120 meters and grew dangerously close to their house. The Sanchez family had spent $35,000 to purchase their home. Imagine their shock and heartbreak when they realized their beloved house was now threatened by this enormous sinkhole. It was their dream home, but suddenly, it had an unwanted, private swimming pool. Though, unfortunately, it was not suitable for swimming. For safety reasons, the couple and their 2 children were forced to evacuate. Authorities deemed the situation highly dangerous and even banned drones from flying near the sinkhole to prevent accidents. Despite the restrictions, numerous videos of the scene surfaced online, capturing the sinkhole's terrifying expansion. The process was dramatic. Edges collapsed, and the 15-meter deep hole continued to release water violently. Some residents speculated that an underground river might have surfaced, but scientists remained skeptical. Instead, experts believed that excessive use of groundwater from the Balsas River basin led to soil softening, ultimately causing the sinkhole. Regardless of the cause, people sympathized with the Sanchez family, hoping they could find a new home and happiness. Bowling Green, Kentucky, USA. Have you ever considered building a museum around a sinkhole? It might sound like a crazy idea, but in the US, there is indeed such a museum, although it was not intentionally built near a sinkhole. Instead, the sinkhole formed naturally beneath it. On February 12, 2014, in the early morning hours, the floor of the National Corvette Museum in Bowling Green, Kentucky, suddenly collapsed. The shocking event was caught on surveillance cameras inside the facility. 8 rare Chevrolet Corvettes, along with part of the concrete floor, were swallowed into the ground. Each car represented a significant phase in Corvette's evolution, making the loss devastating for car enthusiasts. Once museum staff realized what had happened, they quickly removed 20 other vehicles from the area. The reason behind this dramatic collapse was quite simple. Years of groundwater erosion had hollowed out a limestone cavern beneath the museum, creating an underground void. Eventually, the sinkhole opened up and swallowed everything above it. Despite the disaster, this story had a happy ending. The museum not only survived but also recovered 8 of the sunken cars and restored them. The hole was eventually filled, and by 2015, the museum reopened with a brand new attraction, a virtual simulation of the sinkhole and a display of the recovered cars. Tierra Amarilla, Chile. Tierra Amarilla, a village in Chile's Atacama region, was once an unremarkable place, known primarily for its copper mines. The Atacama Desert is considered the driest place on Earth, so most people assumed that sinkholes would be rare there. However, on July 30, 2022, a massive sinkhole measuring 36 meters in diameter suddenly appeared overnight, shocking the local residents. The sinkhole was approximately 200 meters deep, making it one of the deepest sinkholes in recent years. Within just 10 days, its diameter expanded to 50 meters, becoming large enough to fit the Statue of Liberty and its pedestal, with room to spare. So, what caused this massive hole? Was someone trying to turn Earth into a giant donut by drilling holes? Of course not. The real cause was linked to excessive copper mining. Over the years, the mine had extracted about 300,000 tons of copper ore, likely weakening the region's geological structure. Fortunately, no workers or residents were harmed when the sinkhole appeared. However, mining operations were suspended under court orders until the exact cause was determined. Winter Park, Florida, USA. Winter Park, Florida, is a beautiful city known for its charming architecture and tourist attractions. One of its most famous spots is Lake Rose. Interestingly, this lake is relatively new. It was formed by a massive sinkhole. Let's go back to 1972, when Florida water expert Jim Stevenson warned local officials about overusing groundwater and excessive construction. He predicted that if they continued, the land would become unstable, leading to sinkholes. Unfortunately, no one listened. 9 years later, on May 8, 1981, his warning became a reality. A massive sinkhole, nearly 40 years in the making, suddenly appeared. The hole showed no signs of stopping. Over the next few days, it expanded to 98 meters in diameter and reached a depth of about 27 meters. While no one was injured, the sinkhole swallowed about 90,000 cubic meters of soil, an auto repair shop, a swimming pool, and 5 cars. The home of local resident Rose Williams also vanished into the depths. As a tribute, the newly formed lake was named Lake Rose in her honor. Berezniki, Russia. Berezniki, Russia, the second largest city in Perm Krai, was founded in 1932. At the time, authorities decided to extract potash and other minerals from the Urals, which eventually led to the formation of massive sinkholes. In 1986, Berezniki made headlines when a giant sinkhole appeared. Then, in 2007, a second sinkhole emerged, swallowing a mining facility and part of the city. This sinkhole initially measured 15 meters deep, 70 meters long, and 50 meters wide, but it rapidly expanded as underground rock formations collapsed. The situation worsened when toxic gases, including hydrogen sulfide, leaked from the sinkhole, filling the air with a terrible smell similar to rotten eggs. Frightened locals started moving away. Eventually, the sinkhole grew to 437 meters in length, 323 meters in width, and 110 meters in depth, forcing thousands of residents to evacuate. In 2010, a third sinkhole appeared beneath a railway track, swallowing a train car loaded with fertilizer. Compared to the previous sinkholes, this one was considered small, yet it still required over 1 million tons of sand and gravel to fill it. If you think this was the end of Berezniki's sinkhole problems, think again. Over the years, several smaller sinkholes have formed throughout the city, with some reaching depths of 50 meters. Clearly, this town's history of ground collapses is far from over. That's all for today's video. If you enjoyed this content, be sure to like and share it on social media. It helps support our channel. See you in the next video. Bye.